It's spiritual.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with accumulating wealth.
Mm-hmm.
What's bad about wealth and business is the attachment to wealth and business. So when you don't practice aparigraha, when you start to grip or the idea that you can't let go, which is the problem with American capitalism.
Yeah.
Right? That the rich want to grip and hold on to their wealth and not be generous and allow Shakti energy to flow freely.
Yeah.
Because you're scared you're going to lose. This is anti-yogic. But there's nothing wrong with actually accumulating wealth, because that is the goddess.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a form of the divine. So when we talk about yoga as business, for yoga as business to work, both the studio owner or the teacher has to be generous with the teachings, but the student has to be generous with the appreciation for the teachings.
Yeah.
Yoga doesn't happen. It doesn't work one way. It has to work in a two-way street. It can't work on a one-way street.
Yeah.
So I believe that yoga you can have a yogic business because within India and the subcontinent has always incorporated the teachings of yoga and running business. They're not separate.
Yeah. But that's a really good point, Orson. I'm really happy that you're saying that, because I think for many people, there's always this sort of struggle, like, yeah, but yoga was given to us from India, and there's this gift, and can we charge money for it? And also in general, I've been teaching now for nearly 8 years, and I know many teachers who just come from teacher training and go, I'm just going to teach for free. And I'm like, don't teach for free. Don't make it sound like that's what we could do, like we shouldn't be teaching for free. I mean, I don't believe that's, like I just feel, yeah.
Well, let's be clear about even this. Like, yes, yoga was brought to the West by these great swamis, Swami Vivekananda, Yogananda, even Prabhupada, with all the issues I have with the teachings of Prabhupada. they all came and they gifted those teachings. However, none of them came looking to just give it away for free. They actually came to Europe and America looking to connect with the aristocracy. They came, if they came to America, they were looking to teach the Vanderbilts and the Astors and the movers and the shakers of American business. Yeah. They were looking to teach, like, people on the Lower East Side who are living in settlements. They didn't do that. And many of them walked away with accumulation of a lot of wealth. I mean, Yogananda, who ended up in Los Angeles, and I said that in the other podcast, he bought some very nice real estate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Based upon the fact that he had cultivated a student base that was in the film industry and entertainment industry.
Yeah.
That's who he was courting. He was courting people who could support his teachings. And the same thing with Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was from a wealthy family in India. He really was looking to teach that same upwardly mobile class within the American dynamic. That's why he went to Chicago to the lecture on the state of a religion, which was all being attended by intellectuals. It wasn't the guy in the slaughterhouses of Chicago that was going to that lecture. It was the well-educated of America. And then when you look even what Prabhupada did, I mean, Prabhupada, he is probably the poorest of all of the swamis who came. He really did come with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But he very quickly kind of established a system where everything went to the organization. If you became a devotee, that you are a renunciate, and any wealth that is created and generated goes to the organization. So even by the time he died, the organization of the Hare Krishnas was well established within, buildings in New York City. They had real estate. They were able to print books. They were able to send people out. They don't tell you, but a lot of those people who are in the parks every day, they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the dirty secret about that. They're professional musicians. They're being put out to engage people.
Yeah.
So they get stipends, and they're not just asked to live by their own means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that idea here again, that maybe looks to us like it's not a business, it's a complete business.
Yeah. No, that's a really good thing also to bring back to to people who say things like yoga should be for free, because it's why
the idea of yoga for free it comes out of American capitalism, and that's what it is. It's the idea that you don't know anything about this, so I'll give you your first one for free, and then I'll charge you. It's totally a carnival, boardwalk mentality. Like that's what they used to do in Atlantic City, or in they'll give you the first piece of saltwater taffy for free, hoping that you would go in and buy a pound of it.
Yeah.
And they are like, oh, well, we'll give you a sample of the fudge, so you'll go in and buy a pound of fudge.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it was the attraction show, the girl would come out and dance for 2 seconds and then go back through the curtain, hoping that you'll buy the ticket.
Yeah. Capitalist techniques in a way.
It's a capitalist technique to sell.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a diehard yogi who actually believes that capitalism is what has corrupted yoga, because that's what I believe. I don't believe that the West has corrupted yoga. It's capitalism that has corrupted yoga. And capitalism's constantly wanting to grasp and hold on to, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's that last yama, aparigraha.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking aparigraha. So you actually have to start to understand that idea that that everything is for free is actually very misleading within the teachings.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And to come back to, so you are now Urban Sadhu, that's now your brand name, and you changed it very recently, because you used to be a franchise, pretty much Jivamukti Yoga affiliate, right?
We were a franchise.
So we were
Jivamukti Yoga Center, meaning that we were able to conduct all of the advanced boards and teacher trainings in the 800-hour program that they offered. And we have moved into Urban Sadhu. Urban Sadhu was a name that I chose it's funny how I came up with it. I was reading Bhagavan Das's book, Be Here Now, and I had read it years ago, and I was rereading it kind of like at the time when David
I love that book.
And he was talking about how that Nikaroli Baba was a jungle sadhu. And he kept calling him a jungle sadhu. And I thought, well, does that mean that there are urban sadhus? Like there are these guys who are like, wrapped up in a blanket, naked underneath a blanket, hanging out, like kind of just thinking about esoteric ideas in the urban area. And I I thought, well, that's kind of a great name for a movement, because in reality, you, like because that's a little bit like my journey, me telling you, I was giving up this idea of a industry I'd worked in for 30 years to become a yogi. And a sadhu is somebody who is a slight renunciate. They renounce something. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that, when you become a yogi, you start to renounce certain ideas and concepts.
Yeah, there's lots of shedding going on.
It's a lot of shedding, and that is the renunciate. So renunciate, not meaning that you have to run away and live in a cave or run out to the jungle and devoid yourself of people and connection, but that you're starting to shed away and renounce some of these ideas that you had prior to embracing yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what made you? What was it? What you were just mentioning in the beginning of our chat? Like, for people who are listening who don't know, Jivamukti Yoga was sold a few years ago by the founders Sharon and David, and was taken over by Camilla and Hari, new owners of the brand and stuff. So was it soon after that happened that you kind of started thinking, this is not my path anymore, or did you want to no longer be Jivamukti Yoga Studio?
I started thinking, like, the first thought was, after they sold it 4 years ago, I said, uh-oh, rabbit. I think there's a moment that Bugs Bunny says that.
Yeah.
And,
uh-oh.
Uh-oh, bunny. And I thought that I should make some plans. What happens if, this business model doesn't succeed, or that we get hit with a huge fees which is what happened. We got hit with huge fees. Mm-hmm. And so I started making plans, but my plan, and I was very clear, I was very boisterous. I said, if we go back if we stay the system that we're in, which is you leave me alone and I leave you alone, and, we conduct business within our own, But as soon as you start telling me what my website has to look like, and that what color my walls are, and that we're done.
Yeah.
We're through. So I was very clear to the new owners of that, you hit me with a franchising fee, you start putting, like, I want your Instagram account to look like this, and this is how the post has to be. And that, I said, don't you do that with me. Mm-hmm. I said, you keep it hippy dippy, ma pa, kind of like, because that was kind of the beauty of Jivamukti also, is it had this kind of crazy quilt quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
It had this
totally radical.
And the diversity of that was very beautiful. Well, immediately, which I think it's the Scandinavian sensibility, is it tried to be kind of whitened.
Yeah, pastel colored.
And that's the only way I can put it. It looks, the direction the brand is going looks very white to me. Mm-hmm. It looks, and when I say that, I mean Caucasian. It looks very, and what we had done in Jersey City, because Jersey City is so ethnically diverse. Mm-hmm. In fact, Jersey City has been, for 3 years in a row, has been given the most ethnically diverse city in America.
Yeah, amazing.
And so we have students from all over the world. Some of them are just coming here to work on work visas. Mm-hmm. They're not natives of America. And when it started to go that direction of being so homogeneous, I was like, this isn't my community. This doesn't reflect the needs that I need to do to service my community. Mm-hmm. And even what we had done here while we were Jivamukti, I remember we opened and David walked in, and because the studio, it doesn't look like you're in America. It looks like you're in a temple.
Yeah, it's so nice.
And David looked at me and he said, don't get too exotic. Because, but I don't think he even understood at the time that my going toward a visual environment that looks so ethnic, really a reflection of my community.
Exactly.
It had nothing to do with going exotic. It had to do with saying, doing something because you had two gay white studio owners that when somebody brown